Guess who's back? Back again. Chris and Steph. Tell your friends. We are back. You Stadium Fantasy Live. Stefan with me again, as always, with the Studio 54 mic. I a little distracting. I'm not gonna lie. I might lose my train of thought just looking at your mic, but I like it. You don't gotta hide it.
Nah,
I like it. How's it going, big guy? How did you enjoy the NFL draft? It's been a while since we've been in front of each other here. How's everything going for you down in Tampa? I must say, I'm not excited. The Leaf game is on, and Tampa Bay
Ooh.
Lightning are beating them 2-0 at the moment. But we're here to talk fantasy. I'm not really too worried about the Leafs right now. I'll cry about that another time. But man, how you doing, Stefan?
I can't complain. I mean,
Good.
honestly, it's been good. It's been a very surprising last 2 weeks. With the AJ Brown trade and just who went where, and the fantasy rookies that are going everywhere they're going. So, I mean, it's just going to be an exciting season. So, like, I was just anxious to get back on, and I was watching that game, so like, it got me a little hype. So I was like, oh, we got something at 8:30. So I mean, I can't wait. I mean, all these trades, all these moves, all these duos from Tyreek to where's Debo going to like Devonta Smith and AJ Brown. I'm just ready for some football. Even training camp. Give me some training camp now. Give me these rookies, running pads and running half speed, and I'll be good until the preseason starts.
You mean the USFL is not up your alley? You're not taking that in. It's finally Bateman season. Yes, it is finally Bateman season there. Before we get into it, today we're talking rookies. We are brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. The NFL season is always underway, and you with Underdog Fantasy, you can go and draft best ball teams right now. It's Underdog is a way to win cash prizes through their slick mobile app and user-friendly site. You can join a league and draft a team in minutes. Plus, the folks at Underdog are going to help you get started with $100 deposit match when you sign up and make your first deposit with the promo code uSTADIUM. So just visit underdogfantasy.com, the App Store, the Google Play Store, sign up with the code uSTADIUM, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code uSTADIUM. Let them know who sent you, the boys over at uStadium Fantasy. And also download the uStadium app. The takes feature is lit. It was fired up during the draft. The takes were flowing in. And some of my favorite ones were the trades. Was Debo going to get traded? Who was going to get picked first? Who was going to get picked second? Your secondary team, the Detroit Lions, had a pretty decent draft.
Finally.
But there was a lot of fantasy moves, a lot of fantasy implications. We saw AJ Brown get traded to the Eagles. We saw Marquise Brown get traded to the Arizona Cardinals. He automatically becomes the wide receiver one there, at least for the first 6 weeks, with DeAndre Hopkins suspended due to testing positive for PEDs. If looking back at our wide receiver rankings, these three moves, well, the new Hopkins move isn't really necessarily a trade or whatever like that, but AJ Brown, you had him in your top 10 in Tennessee. Are you taking him out of your top 10 now that he's in Philly?
Uh, that's a curveball. I mean, honestly, I don't
Keep
want
you
to
on your
because
toes.
right, because it's still AJ Brown. At the end of the day, it's still who he is. He's still a
Yeah.
1,000-yard receiver. He's still an 8+ touchdown guy. It just falls in the hands of Jalen Hurts. Is he going to give him the ball? Is he going to like deliver him that deep ball that he needs to score like a 60-yarder? I think I'll leave. Like if he was at 10, I think I'm okay with that 10 for now.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it's going to be like AJ Brown 1,400 yards and then 10 touchdowns, and then Smith gets like 1,000. Like these guys are almost kind of Chase and T Higgins esque. Like they're both 1,000-yard receivers, but it's Jalen Hurts. It's like I said, right? Yeah, AJ Brown is Jalen Hurts dependent. He's good. He's a rusher. He needs to be a 500-yard rusher, a 3,500-yard passer. I think AJ Brown does end up being a top 10 receiver. I just don't know if it's like every week, consistent basis. Like
Yeah.
5 straight weeks, he's going to give you 20 points a game, or is he going to get you 25 points one game, 10 points, 17 points, something like that. But I will take him. I mean, I won't
Yep.
take him anywhere in the second round, but
Mm-hmm.
I will take him as a receiver too. But I'm still weary. Maybe 12 and no higher than 9.
I think that's right about where I'm going to keep him at, that 12 to 15 spot. He's still going to get the targets. Philly's game plan might change a little bit from being a running scheme offense into a more passing with Jalen Hurts there. For me, I'm moving Jalen Hurts up. I'm moving A.J. Brown maybe a little bit back, but I'm definitely moving Jalen Hurts up 1, 2, maybe 3 spots there in Philadelphia. Now that he's got some solid weapons around him, he's got a decent offensive line, and he's got a defense that has been bulked up as well. But another big one, we got the live reaction from Splash when they were in Vegas when the news dropped during the draft that Marquise Brown was traded for a first to the Cardinals. They then traded up with Buffalo to take Linderbaum. I was speaking to him earlier. He was pretty happy with those moves. But Marquise Brown now, does he enter your top 20? At least for the first 6 weeks? Are you moving up? I've seen him get drafted a bit higher now that he's with the Cardinals there. He's with his college teammate Kyler Murray, and we've seen the success that college teammates have had when between the wide receiver and the quarterback, the duos there. So Brown, are you bumping him up?
If I can pull up the stat sheet that I had, or that list that I had, if he's in the top 15, no. Top 20, yes. I still think he's like Christian Kirk, but just like a nicer version of Christian Kirk. Like Christian Kirk can do close to 1,000 yards. I mean, Hollywood Brown, we thought he was going to be like do I want to say a Tyreek kind of a player before Tyreek came out? Like he was supposed to be that guy in Baltimore, and he never really like flourished 100%. So I think going to Arizona, I think he has a new chance to like reestablish himself, reestablish those hands too. I mean, I think for the first 6 weeks, I would have him easily as a receiver 1. I mean, who else is he going to throw to? He has Zach Ertz, you have Rondell Moore, AJ Green. Hollywood Brown kind of just sticks out of those 3 names. You're not going to sit there and trust those guys. AJ Green has had good games, but then he's had some games where it's just been like brutal. So I'll put him in the top 20. If it's kind of like a week-on-week thing. Like, do I see how he does week 1? Do I start him if it's a good matchup? Yeah. If he does well, I mean, you play him until he does bad. But he's not a player that's going to sit there and have 6, 7 games under 10 points. He's still a good guy to have, a receiver 2 at worst. But a receiver 1, it's kind of like a little pushing it. So top 20, yes. Top 15, no. And in fantasy, if I would get him as like a late round second guy to like an A.J. Brown, a DK Metcalf, a Debo, easily having that to a combo set.
Yeah, nice wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 on your team. Maybe even a flex option if you can get him that late.
Oh, yeah.
But with the Nuke news, with him being suspended for the first 6 games, it's going to be hard to get Brown now a little bit later. And then with the ramifications of Brown leaving Baltimore, that leaves wide receiver Rashad Bateman as the wide receiver 1 for Baltimore. Knowing what we know out of the Baltimore offense and their inabilities to produce a high-profile wide receiver 1 in terms of fantasy, Bateman definitely moves up top 25. I'm not too sure I'm putting him in the top 20 yet, but he's right on the fringe for me there. I would like to see Baltimore maybe throw the ball a bit more, but also Jarvis Landry has been kind of rumored to land there in Baltimore, but I definitely like Rashad Bateman coming into the season. I was able to buy low a bit on him before the draft, so I was kind of happy with that. The value absolutely shot up. Marquise Brown was top 10 in targets last year. Bateman explosion season. Yep. Hey, the targets are going to be there, right? When you're the wide receiver 1 on the team, the targets are going to be there. I'm excited to see what he can do with it. He was electric in college, so I'm excited to see what Bateman can do in that offense. But we're here to talk Rookies, Steph gave me his top 15. There's a couple controversial ones in there, I'm not going to lie. And I handed in my 15. And then we're going to just talk about each other's lists. We'll talk about where they fall consensus-wise through the ADP that we're building through all these rookie drafts and stuff like that. But Steph, let's bring up your top 15 rookies and we'll go over what you got going on. So these are Stefan's top 15 or top 10? Top 15, right?
Top 15, yep.
Top 15 rookies heading in to the 2022 season. You cannot see 15. Oh, there it is. I was just going to say, you cannot see 15 right now, and you don't want to see 15 right now, because if you do, if you see 15 right now, you're going to be throwing chirps Steph way.
Yep.
You're going to be making fun of his ET spaceship microphone, and you're going to be making fun of him putting Jameson Williams at 15. The only thing I can think of, Steph, when I saw this list, the only thing I can think of is that you put him there because he's most likely going to miss the first third to maybe quarter of the regular season.
Yeah, that's literally what I think it is. I think it's more of like an Odell Beckham situation. When he came out his rookie year, he missed half of it. People are going to not like redraft leagues are going to like really hold on to him. I mean, I'm going to hold on to him no matter what. If he's a late round flyer, I'm going to take him. But like, I just think he's going to have a second half of the season explosion. I have him at 15. He could be higher than that. This is the first list. It's just he either could come back or he can't come back. I'm not really 100% sure. So as of the first list, I could leave him at the bottom. I mean, players like Isaiah Spiller as well. It's like, these are guys I think coming into week 7, 8 when Eckler, is the workhorse. He's getting all that workload.
Yep.
Isaiah Spiller is a great RB2. Like, this league is no longer like the RB1. Like, this is the guy. This is the Derrick Henrys of the world. That's why I have him on this list.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Jameson and Spiller are two guys that right now they're not like the sexy names. Like they're good names. But in the dynasty leagues, we'll have them. They're higher picks. But like redraft, I think come playoff time when you need that guy that's like, hey, this guy is out for 2 games like Eckler sometimes is, you plug in Isaiah Spiller and he's a stud. You get Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown last year was like league winner. He won people championships and he was on waiver wire prior to week 8, I think it was.
Yep.
So these are sneaky names. I got him in there. I did miss one that I'll let you go ahead and shoot me out for in a second. But I wanted to start from the bottom because it is like almost ludicrous to have Jameson Williams there. I know you were upset about it, but hey, it's my list. I can,
That's
put
it.
what.
That's
so,
it.
I mean, one name I do like on this list is John Mechie, and I'm having him at 12, more of like a safe space. I think this kid's a stud. I think he and Jameson Williams are both like complementary players, and it's not like, oh, who's better? Which one's got more of the like splash effect? I think John Mechie is that guy. Him and Brandon Cooks, Davis Mills, what they got there. They have Dameon Pierce as well in Houston. So they have a bunch of young people, a bunch of young studs and a veteran that are just going to, I think, excel. And they're going to be a bad team, but come fantasy-wise, they're that team that's like, wow, Brandon Cooks is 1,000+ yard receiver on the Houston Texans that are always going to be down by 20+ points.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, outside of that, I mean, Kenneth Walker looks good. Olave, I think, is going to be a stud in your hometown with the Saints and whoever's running that quarterback. I think
it's
Garrett
Jameis.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, even Jameson Wilson or Jameis Winston, no matter who's on the field, it's Michael Thomas, it's Chris Olave. I think Hendrickson. Hopefully, no, not Hendrickson. What's his name? Troutman. Yeah, Troutman. I hope he has a good season because it's like 3 years. It's like this is the guy. Then Juwan Johnson comes out of nowhere. So I think these guys right here make splashes their rookie years. Jahan Dotson. I don't know if I respect him enough to put him over Christian Watson.
Ooh.
Only because, I mean, I'm a sucker for that 6'5".
Yeah.
Big go up and get it. And I mean,
gotcha.
what better quarterback to give it to? Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. Yep.
I mean, Breece Hall, Drake London, Treylon Burks, all kind of interchangeable because they're going into positions that they're going to be the number one. I think Burks is probably one of the closest ones to 1,000 yards. I think Drake has the potential to get like double-digit TDs. I mean, these guys are heading into like receiver 1 roles right off rip. And we don't think it's like Garrett Wilson gets 1,000. Is it Chris Olave? I think all 4 receivers get at least 800 yards this season in the top 5.
Yeah. Yep. Yep, I like the list. I mean, our lists vary for the most part with some of these spots, but the top part of the list is pretty much the same. The one guy you did leave off is
Go ahead.
George Pickens, wide receiver from Georgia, drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. You left him off the list. I gotta know why. Maybe it was just an oversight. Mike Tomlin came out today talking with Rich Eisen, saying that he's a big dude that moves like a small guy. He shouldn't have the moves that he has with his size. He is a, like you said, you like the big wide receivers. Is it situation? Is it the quarterback? Is it the fact that he has to fight for playing time with Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool ahead of him? But the one thing that I like, I'm drafting Pickens everywhere I can because the one position that the Pittsburgh Steelers draft properly, it's the wide receivers. They've had a ton of successful wide receivers in the NFL. So George Pickens, I mean, you're getting him early second round in rookie drafts, maybe late first. I think he's an absolute steal. He could definitely finish scoring wise above guys like Jahan Dotson, above guys like possibly John Mechie, and of course, maybe even Jameson Williams because Williams is expected to miss some time there. And then the other guy, the other one that I'm a little confused with is the Sky Moore placement. I think I would take Zamir White right out of the top 15, and I would put Sky Moore right there at 10. And then maybe fit Wandale in there. The Zamir White one is very interesting that you have him in the top 10 coming off double ACL tears. Also from Georgia, big bruiser back, is going to go through the tackles. He's going to put the shoulder down and just lay you out. Not the quickest guy, not the guy that's going to make the cuts. I could definitely see him being the 1B to Josh Jacobs' 1A. Jacobs can catch the ball pretty well out of the backfield. So they might try to lessen the load there for Josh. We know that the new coaching staff over there, Josh McDaniels, is probably going to carry some of that New England style offense to Las Vegas. So that one is interesting for me. I know Sky Moore, a lot of people are high on Sky Moore just because of his landing spot, but you got to explain to me why you got Zamir White in the top 10. I just need to hear it.
I mean, I don't trust Kenyon Drake. I don't. I mean, even Josh Jacobs, the second he declined his fifth year or his option, I'm like, okay, they're not going to head his way.
Something there, yeah.
Yeah, something's brewing, and I know Zamir White has his ACL. I know. But and you know who else had injuries? A lot of other players in college had that. I think his injuries were bad. It's like I said, double ACLs. It's basically your life when you run.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think with McDaniel's there, I think that offense, like you said, it's an easy 1B to either Drake or Jacobs. I think
Yeah.
they took him where they took him because obviously they trust him. You know, it's like they could have let him go and got someone else. They could have picked up anyone else earlier, but they
Mhm.
decided to go with him. And I think it's a good pick because you don't know who could be the running back there. Josh Jacobs is not the healthiest back. He's got ankle injuries, knee injuries. He's got like injuries, like rib injuries. Kenyon Drake just broke his leg. It's like
Yeah.
these guys are on 1-year deals or they're going to be on their way out. And I think Zamir White this year can make a little splash, like maybe like a guy you take late flyer, but has those few games where he puts up what you need, like those goal line touchdowns. Say Josh Jacobs is out for a period. If Josh Jacobs is out for anywhere between 2 and 3 weeks, maybe 4, you're getting a fringe flex player that could be an RB2 in an offense
Definitely.
that wants to run the ball, that has a decent, like, a good offensive line, and that's trying to reestablish their offense because they have a good wide receiving core. And sometimes when you sit there and just hand the ball off, you catch a defense off guard. You know, he rips off a 10-yard run or a 5-yard, dinky touchdown, just like get you like fantasy points. Because at the end of the day, sometimes you just need that guy.
Yeah. Yep.
But that's why I think, if anything, I want to see how training camp goes with a lot of these guys. I do like a lot of these guys, and I see potential. It's like you might not agree, like, hey, this guy might not do this because of the
Mhm.
situation,
Yep.
but we don't know what can happen, come week 1.
Yeah.
Like,
Ain't that the truth?
like anything from now until then, this whole list could be nothing. Like we could see Isaiah Spiller can, something can happen where he takes his
Mhm.
spot or where he's gone. So like it's always going to change. But like I said, the only ones I'm sure, injury turned off like Madden. Brees Hall, Drake London, Traylon Burks, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave are for sure tier 1 like starters for fantasy. Like guys you'll get in like, would I say round 7? Is that a reach? Like in redraft leagues, I'm like round 7, 6, and then take a quarterback after.
Yep.
I mean,
Not much of a reach.
In our dynasty league, they went like I sat there like I'm pick 105, and all these guys are going. Drake London's going second.
Yeah, they're gonna go early, man.
Yeah, Traylon Burks went third. Garrett Wilson went fourth. I'm like, what? So like I took Kenneth Walker in hopes that maybe if not this year, middle of this year, like
Dynasty,
week 1,
yeah,
and like even week 1, I'm not the biggest Rashad Penny like fan, but I'm also like Chris Carson's on his way out.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So like these two guys are gonna sit there and interchange, but it's just hard because Penny's been good. Kenneth Walker was the best running back in college football last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's gonna change, but I knew I'd get the George Pickens one, but it is situational. It is.
Yeah,
like, if you look at it, Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson, Fairmouth, Najee Harris all require a minimum of 50 targets. And 50 catches. Like that's a minimum, I think, of what they'll get. So for Pickens to come in there, unless it's an injury or unless he just straight out balls out, beats Chase Claypool, because I'm not a huge firm believer in Claypool yet. I think he still needs to like untap his potential to be a better deep threat receiver. But I think if George Pickens does it, he's got that dog mentality. I mean, I hear you vouching for him. So if he can put that on the field and translate into some preseason games, maybe even week 1, get like, some 3 receiver flexes where he's there and prove it, Mike Tomlin will start this guy without a heartbeat because they have a great track record for the receivers.
Yeah, he's a perfect divisional wide receiver for that division. Got a great question here. When is the best time to do a rookie draft? I like to do mine right after the NFL draft, within a week or so. Let everyone get their bearings about them. Let everyone get their head back in the game, and then do the rookie draft. Set up your teams that way, and then from the end of your rookie draft to the start of the NFL season, you're just retooling. You're retooling your squad, getting it ready for the fantasy season. Also, during these early rookie drafts, you can trade for next year's picks. So the 2023 first round is going to be absolutely loaded as of right now. So the closer that you get to 2023, the more valuable those picks are going to become, the harder it is going to be to acquire them. So you can get a 2023 first for, say, a 109, 2022 109, 2022 110. So you can start stocking up on those 2023 first, because people don't know where they're going to be. You could take advantage of some other people's eagerness to get into those rookie drafts. Steph, looking at your list here, give me the one rookie bust in your top, let's say 5. Give me a rookie sleeper, and give me the fantasy rookie MVP.
Okay, bust in the top 5. Give me Garrett Wilson. No.
Oh, I like it. Hey, you got the Zach Wilson rocket arm shirt on. Come on, man.
Hey, what is that? Like, you know what? Give me Chris Olave, because I have to honestly say, with that offense being high, I can't disrespect Garrett Wilson because he's good. But that offense, and I hate to say this, the Jets offense is, I think, better than the Saints offense. Mm-hmm. And I think they have more of an established pass game. I think he gets more, usage. And I think Garrett Wilson is the guy. I think Chris Olave bust, but I can't say he's going to get like 400 yards. I think he's just going to be the worst out of the 5.
Gotcha.
And then you said the second one was a sleeper?
Yeah, give me a rookie sleeper. It could be on your list, like a guy that here maybe on the bottom part of this list that could finish in the top 5 of fantasy scoring for rookies on the season. Maybe a guy not on the list that is just you had just outside that you want to put in. That's not George Pickens.
John Mechie. I can't say enough. He's one of those guys that I'm obsessed with at a point. He's like the Javonte Williams, the Cordero Pattersons. Like, he's like those guys that I love early because I just see, I don't know what I see. I mean, I'm not over here like scouting the guy, but I just see the potential on film. I see his combine numbers. He just looks like he's ready to go. And I know he had that injury,
Yeah.
but I just think he's a guy that comes in and on a bad team will be down all the time, half the season. He might get like a bunch of garbage time stuff, but along with the yardage, is 750 yards. Give me 7 touchdowns for John Mechie in that offense. I mean,
I like
him
it.
and what's it, Nico
Collins and Brandon Cooks.
Collins, Brendan Cooks, John Mechie. I mean, and the 500 running backs that they have behind, Davis Mills. I just think John Mechie at the end of the season will be in a top 4 of the receivers for rookies. And I'm going to put the top 3 guys from my 2 to 4 just on a whole pedestal. So, like, they're not even going to be there. But sleeper-wise, it's going to be John Mechie. I think you get him late, you get him really late, and you let him sit for a little bit. After he gets familiar with the offense, Davis Mills, slings the rock. They're down by 30 points. You never know.
Yeah, and they built around Davis Mills. I mean, something I was hoping the Chicago Bears would do and build around Justin Fields and protect the guy and give him options. Instead of they drafted a 50-year senior and Voluis Jones. They didn't add to the offensive line until maybe late in the draft. But then you have the Houston Texans building around a guy that they picked late. It was a day 2, third round, Davis Mills. Everyone called him crazy. He came in, had a high percentage of completion. And then you got a team like the Chicago Bears where fantasy players were hopeful that they built around their first round pick in Justin Fields, the future of their franchise, the quarterback of the future for the Bears. And they didn't help him at all. He had I think the highest percentage of pressure rate in the NFL. And it's not going to get better. You've seen what the Cincinnati Bengals can do or did when they gave help to Joe Burrow. Even though it wasn't a lot of help, they bolstered that offensive line. They bolstered it again this offseason, and they're only going to get better. If you want to protect your franchise quarterback, if you want your young quarterback to succeed, you have to build that defending wall in front of him. You have to give him talented wide receivers for him to move the ball. Darnell Mooney is the wide receiver 1 in Chicago right now. Darnell Mooney is not a wide receiver 1 in the NFL. Great accent piece. I'm going to draft him wherever I can get Darnell Mooney just because of the target share that he's going to have in Chicago. But with that, I mean, is he going to finish in the top 15? I doubt it because Justin Fields is going to be scrambling or he's going to be on the floor the whole time. So, I mean, I like the John Mechie take. I'm totally on board with him. He tore his ACL in December. He said he should be ready by July. Full go. He'll be ready for camp. He'll be ready for the preseason. He's going to be the wide receiver 2 for the Houston Texans. And in Dynasty, you're drafting this guy in the late 2nd. Right now, his ADP is 19. So you're drafting him in
204, 203.
Yeah, mid to late 2nd.
I took him at 204.
Yeah.
I sat there. I looked at the draft board when we had our draft, and I'm like, John Mechie's still there. I'm like, I wanted him. I knew he'd be there. Like, I took Kenneth Walker, and I'm like, I have to get John Mechie. If it's not this year, it's going to be next year. This guy is going to be the guy in Houston. I mean, him and Brandon Cooks, they re-signed Cooks. It's like, it's one of those guys I really have an itch for. So I hope I'm not wrong, and I hope he does good, and I hope this is like a good take. But I don't know. Like you said, you look at Justin Fields and Darnell Mooney, Byron Pringle, and who's number 3? I don't even know.
Voluis Jones.
Voluis Jones. Okay. You're like, what are you doing in Chicago that you're not doing anywhere else? Like,
exactly.
Houston is making more moves to be more successful after all the turmoil that they had with the Deshaun Watson stuff, everything. They managed to turn this like crapshoot into a good team that I think this team could be. And this is going to be good, like a 4.5, 5-win team. And for them, that's a win. Like to be 5 wins, that's a win.
And the division's there for the taking. You got Tennessee, you got Indianapolis, you got Jacksonville and Houston. A 8-win team, 7-win team, 9-win team can end up winning this division. And if
Unless
they
the Colts
go,
blow it. Like if the
unless
Colts
they, yeah,
really implode and
yeah,
like everything
that's
goes
true.
sideways for them, it's
Mhm.
like there's no way that the Colts don't end up the North champs, but there's
Yeah,
a way that the Texans could very easily steal it from
sneak,
under them.
sneak right in there, man.
I mean,
Sneak right in there.
we don't know, but we're just saying it could happen because it's the NFL and some teams that win beat teams that they shouldn't. And like last year, the Jags beat the Colts, and what happened?
Yeah,
It was a whole
Carson
different
Wentz is
ball
out
game
of
in
there.
Indianapolis.
Yeah, yeah, I like it. All right, that's Stefan's top 15 rookies for the 2022 season. Now we're gonna jump into mine, Stefan. I hope you give me the same heat as I gave yours,
I know you.
brother.
I like. I know who you're not gonna have on there already. So like, I'm just gonna be like, wow, disrespect. Like I know. I haven't even seen it really. Let's see.
I don't got Mechie on there.
I know that's the
I
first. Rashad
should. You
White.
should. You should. Yeah, I got Rashad White there. Leonard Fournette has missed 20% of his games almost every season. He can catch the ball, Rashad White. He's a runner. All it's going to take is Leonard Fournette to go down 1 to 2 games. If Rashad White can gain the trust of Tom Brady, he's definitely going to earn playing time in the NFL. I'm happy with where I've been able to draft Rashad White in rookie drafts, getting him late mid two. I'm ecstatic with that. I was kind of hoping he'd go somewhere else, but I don't hate the landing spot in Tampa Bay for Rashad.
I'm looking. Really, you think Jameson Williams comes out and just balls? Or
Yeah,
like you think
yeah,
like he's like all right because like I know technology or modern or whatever it is nowadays with the ACLs everyone's repairing them faster, it's just like a whole different thing. But you really think he comes out in a Lions uniform and just balls out of all these other rookies over a Devontae Adams list, Christian Watson,
oh yeah, yeah.
Sky Moore? I mean, I think Sky Moore is very underrated, and I think we
Mhm.
both know that, but we're kind of hesitant to put him higher because we don't want to be fooled by that offense
Yeah, yeah,
because they
I
have all
agree.
these other guys. I mean, Jahan Dotson, I feel like I think you're disrespecting him a little bit. I mean,
At
I
the
know they don't have a
13,
quarterback. I think
yeah,
he's a little bit better. I would definitely put him over James Cook.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
Wendell Robinson
Dotson.
too. Yeah, I would put Dotson. I think switch me Sky Moore and Dotson, and I'd be okay with that.
Yeah,
The Jameson Williams one, I'm like trying to like be okay with, but it's like just chirping at me like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Oh,"
Yeah, the
because I
dude is just so talented, man. Once he gets on the field, the only thing holding him back is the quarterback of Jared Goff. So he's not a big downfield passer. Amon-Ra St. Brown was electric because he just gave it to him within that 10 to 15 range, and the
yep.
guy just got the yak after that. But as soon as Jameson is clear to play, as soon as he gets on that field, I definitely have him above guys like Christian Watson, who draws a similar comp to MVS, who just left Green Bay there. So for me, Watson's issue is going to be getting to the middle of the field. If you watch what he does, when he makes his cut, instead of 1-2 steps, he's got 4 to 5 steps and then he's cutting. In the NFL, DBs are going to absolutely eat you up. They are fast as well in the NFL. So they're going to be able to keep up. The 4-4 wide receiver is going to be running against the 4-4 DB in the NFL. So that kind of stuff kind of has me worried with Christian Watson just a little bit. So I'm buying the talent of Jameson Williams when he enters back into the NFL. Of course, Breece Hall, number one. I love what he's going to be able to do in that New York Jets offense. Michael Carter is going to take a bit of a back seat. Breece Hall can do it all, man. He can catch the ball. He can run the ball. He can get in between tackles. In 4 years, Michael Carter, I think 82 receptions at the University of North Carolina. And then in 3 years, Breece Hall matched them at Iowa State. So that is hands down rookie number one. The only other guy I'd probably take above Breece is Treylon Burks. He just fits that offense there in Tennessee so well. He's going to fill the hole that AJ Brown has left there in Tennessee. They were okay letting AJ Brown go. The dude got paid in Philly, and they knew that Burks was going to be the instant replacement. My most recent rookie draft, 1-2, I picked Brees and Burks. I actually got Jahan Dotson at 2-6. So I was ecstatic with that.
That's a good one.
He was picked 16th overall in the NFL draft, and I got him late or mid second, mid to late second there. So that was a steal for me. And then Drake London. A lot of people have Drake London as the wide receiver 1 in the class. He's going to get the instant targets, the instant production there in Atlanta. I just don't know what to expect out of the Falcons. Is it going to be Ritter throwing the ball? If it is Ritter throwing the ball, are you moving London up a little bit more? Because if it's Mariota, I think maybe I'm moving London down. Dynasty leagues, I'm picking him right there. His ADP is second overall. I think it's 3.2 in terms of average draft position for Drake London. Next year, they can get an instant upgrade at quarterback. Same with Jameson Williams. You're picking Jameson Williams in the top 8, top 7 of dynasty rookie drafts, only because next year, the Detroit Lions could go and draft CJ Stroud, Bryce Young. You got Tyler Van Dyke coming out of Miami. You got Will Levis coming out of Kentucky. I think I seen one mock draft already, early 2023 NFL mock draft.
Wow.
And they had about 5 QBs going in the first round.
Yeah, but like, didn't we have that happen to us too? Like, we're like, can you pick it? It's like, it's when it's so early. It's like these NFL drafts now, and they're so early that there's all these one guys like the Malik Willises of the world. And where did he go? He dropped. So like, I think Stroud, I think Young are like the clear cut. Like those are going to be the one and two. I think it is, unless something happens. I think JSN comes out of the draft next year. He's one of my favorites. You know, I cannot wait to see what this guy does.
Yeah,
I mean, it's going to be a nice deep draft. And I'm looking at your list too. And I'm like, wait a minute. People were talking how this is not like a draft where it's like crazy good. I'm looking at a lot of these names, and I think for the next 5-6 years, you could see.
You got some playmakers, man. It's top heavy. It's top
1 through 12. I think 1 through 12, easily you could see these guys in the league for the next 5-6 years and actually doing pretty well. Traylon Burks, I think next year, him and Malik Willis, even Malik Willis this year might beat out Tannehill. Bold take. I don't really think Tannehill is like the answer there. I think Drake London next year, Calvin Ridley are going to just go nuclear with Kyle Pitts. Like, can you believe that trio? 2023's Atlanta Falcons. CJ Stroud or Bryce Young is the quarterback. Like Kyle Pitts, Drake London, and Calvin Ridley.
Yeah. Now picture this: 2023, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud is the quarterback of the Detroit Lions behind one of the best offensive lines in the league, with guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown, with Jameson Williams, with TJ Hawkinson, with DeAndre Swift, a defense that's getting rebuilt from the back end in.
Yep.
They got Aiden Hutchinson there on the line. Absolute dogs. The team is built around the coach. They're all bought into the system in Detroit. So let's see what Goff can do this season with the Lions. Let him be that bridge for a Stroud or a Young or maybe a Tyler Van Dyke or a Will Levis has been flying up draft boards lately. There's the QB class for 2023 might go down as one of the best, depending what happens this college season. You got guys like Anthony Richardson as well from Florida, who's been slinging the ball. And then you got guys that might be on the move, like a Ryan Tannehill, who might get dished. Carson Wentz most likely going to get traded again. Who knows what happens there? One of the biggest surprises for me with the draft and then rookie drafts, prior to the NFL draft with the mocks, you had guys like Malik Willis, Matt Corral, all going in the top 5, top 7 of rookie drafts. They've absolutely fallen off the map. The only rookie quarterback worth drafting in the first round of your rookie drafts this year is Kenny Pickett, just based on where they picked him in the first. They picked him with the 20th pick overall there in Pittsburgh. We know the hands have been an issue. Pittsburgh has come out and said the hands aren't an issue. 5 years at Pitt, not a good sign for a quarterback coming out late like that. But is Kenny Pickett someone that you're invested in? We got him ranked about the same spot there. So I for one am not drafting Kenny Pickett anywhere. Is he a guy that you're interested in picking up?
Oh, man. Say training camp goes the way that training camp went for the Seattle Seahawks back in 2010.
I see where you're going.
Yes. I mean, if he beats him out, I'm going to take Pickett because he's got to supply Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, George Pickens, Najee Harris, Pat Freiermuth, and I think he has no choice but to ball out. Like, even if he struggles, I think he's going to have like a good game where you can't drop him, but he's a good QB2 for the bye week.
Yep.
And like I said, you're giving him an offense, and you cannot do worse than Big Ben did last year. There's no way you're going to tell me that Kenny Pickett, as small as his little hands are, I think he still can sling the rock. He could still deliver a deep ball to Deontay. I think he's set up to have like the keys to a Ferrari. All you have to do is just drive, play quarterback. Don't overthink it. Do it. Learn the lessons. Have lunch and dinner and breakfast with Deontay Johnson and the receivers. Do what all these other guys do to build that chemistry, because come the end of the season, if he finishes in the top 12 quarterbacks, regardless of where they end up team-wise, that's success.
Yeah.
And I think Kenny Pickett is a fringe. If my drafting was a QB2 in 12-man leagues, yes. 10-man leagues, I don't touch him. 14-man leagues, super flex leagues, like in our draft, we have the quarterbacks is that big of a position. I would start him in about 80%. Not 80%, like 75% of the time in a dynasty league. Yep. So if you drafted him, if you took him in the first round, I would be more than okay with having him as your flex quarterback, because he's still gonna get you points. If they're losing, if they're winning, he has an elite offense in my mind. Those guys are all good. They're all potential Pro Bowlers. Just give him the rock. Beat out Trubisky.
Just give him
Trubisky's not like Tom Brady. He's Mitchell Trubisky. He's the Oh, sorry, I'm throwing things. I'm so angry.
Yeah. I hate Trubisky.
But you get it. Like, Kenny Pickett could be easily a top 15 QB.
Yeah.
I mean, it's there. Your boy George Pickens is there. Come on, like, he's gonna make him the GOAT, right?
That's it.
In order for him to succeed, Kenny Pickett has to succeed.
Yep, so. I agree. And then one of the most maybe, I don't know if it's the right word I'm using here, but controversial rookies, not really to do with controversy, but where guys have been valuing him and where I've seen him get picked. He's been all over the place. It's running back from the Buffalo Bills, James Cook. A bit of an undersized guy, Dalvin Cook's brother. The Bills wanted to bring in McKissick. They potentially had a contract agreement during the tampering period. JD decided he was going to go back to Washington, the Commanders there. So they drafted James Cook to probably take that role for the Buffalo Bills. We know Devin Singletary's on a contract year. We know Zach Moss is pretty much probably a thing of the past. So input James Cook into that role, the pass catching back, maybe that kind of role that they wanted to put JD McKissick in for that offense there. But I'm okay drafting James Cook like late first, early second. I'm not going to draft them anywhere near the top 8. I'd rather one of the wide receivers over James Cook. I think the wide receivers are going to have more of an immediate fantasy impact over James Cook. The Buffalo Bills have come out and said they wanted to shy away from Josh Allen running the ball so much, so there's going to be opportunity there. But Devin Singletary is a competent back. We saw what he did in the second half of the season last year. He can do what Zach Moss did. He can do what James Cook can do. So I don't know about the playing time that he's going to get, but I think with where they drafted him and the game plan that they're gonna have for James Cook, he's a one cut guy. He's quick. He's gonna make you miss. If he gets into that open field, he's gone. Again, he's not his brother's. Brother's a little bit bigger, more of an every down guy. James Cook is not that big, but he's one guy that I think come NFL regular season, he's going to be the guy he's going to be the new hype rookie running back that I think is going to be moved up and down. You're going to see him go all over the place in a bunch of drafts. So I'll give a bust in my top 5, and that's Kenneth Walker. Just based on where based on where he's getting drafted, and Seattle's going to run a lot. I mean, it's what they're going to do. For years, Russell Wilson has been clamoring for offensive line. They didn't get it for him. He's gone. Now they've bolstered the offensive line.
It's crazy how stuff like that works out.
Yeah, exactly. So you got Carson there, you got Penny there, now you got Walker there. Walker was electric last year for Michigan State. Oof. Put up huge numbers, not the most prolific pass catcher. So that's where I'm kind of thinking that he may bust only based on where you're drafting him. If his right now his ADP in rookie drafts is 3.4, so he's kind of like that second to third, maybe fourth pick in dynasty rookie drafts. So Dynasty, I'm okay drafting him up there because we know that Carson isn't a long-term thing. We know that we can't really trust Rashad Penny. He did have that little bit of explosion there at the end of last season, but he's my bust. Sleeper, I'm gonna go with. Oh man, this is a tough one. There's so many options. Sleeper, I'm gonna go with Wan'Dale. I'm gonna go Wan'Dale Robinson for the New York Giants. He's athletic freak. He is small, but comparing his analytic numbers to other small wide receivers, he's head and shoulders above a lot of those smaller guys. He's head and shoulders above guys like Rondale Moore. A lot of guys were expecting Rondale Moore to be this Tyreek Hill-esque wide receiver for the Arizona Cardinals, but I think his average depth per target was like 2.8 or 3.8 yards, the lowest in the NFL. So the wide receiver room for the Giants isn't that great. They've been rumored to move Kadarius Toney. They got Sterling Shepard there, Darius Slayton. I could definitely see Wan'Dale, knowing the athlete that he is. He's risen Will Levis' stock. Will Levis was prolific last season for Kentucky, and Wan'Dale Robinson was part of the reason why. His size does concern me a little bit. We know a lot of these small guys get compared to Tyreek Hill. He's either going to be close. I'm not going to say he's going to be Tyreek Hill, but he's going to be close to that kind of wide receiver for the Giants, or he's going to be another just small guy bust. But
another John Ross.
Yeah, but he's definitely my sleeper of all the rookies here.
What do you think George Pickens is going to get? I'm very curious. Like, what do you think his rookie season stat line ends up being?
Rookie season.
Like, give me a realistic rookie season for this guy.
550 and 4.5 touchdowns.
Okay.
Just because he's just the wide receiver 3 right now in that offense, right?
Yeah, I would say yeah.
I'm not counting Freiermuth.
No, yeah. I think
the wide receiver 3,
Deontay Chase, and I think Pickens.
Pickens.
Like 3.
He's a big dude, 6'4", 220. He's going to be a guy that they'll target in the red zone. My only worry is it's quarterback play, man.
Yeah.
It's quarterback play.
I mean, who here do you think is like, okay, so if you had to pick one guy who's going to win you the championship, like I know where your tier break off would be like nothing below 7 to like 15. So you'll probably take the 6 between 6 and 1. Out of the 6 and 1, who is that guy who's going to lead you? Say you're down a running back and you have to implement this guy in your lineup. Like, who are you going to put for your championship rounds? Week 14, 15, and 16.
Treylon Burks, baby. Treylon Burks. Give me Treylon in that system.
With or without Malik?
Without.
Doesn't matter who it is. Give him anybody. He's going to make it.
Give him anybody, man. He's a yak machine. He's not necessarily the fastest guy, but he's going to be that guy that they're going to be looking at in the middle of the field. He can stretch the field. He's going to bruise you. He's going to get the ball. He's going to move the ball. He's a yak monster. Just some of the stuff with Treylon here. He finished first in his class in yards per route run with 3.57, first in yards per route run when lined up on the outside with 6.08 among all receivers. So the size, he does have some decent speed. You can line him up inside. He spent 77% of his career in the slot, but you can bounce him out. 8.5 yards after catch ranked him at 14th among 170, I think, qualifying wide receivers. So big dude, can move the ball, can run routes in an offense that's going to fit what he can do. We saw the success of A.J. Brown. We're going to see the success of Treylon Burks. He's my rookie fantasy MVP, and he's the guy that I believe comes out on top of all these guys at the end of the day. Treylon.
Wow. No.
Treylon Burks, baby.
Treylon for president.
Treylon for rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year.
You convinced me. I mean, I love Treylon Burks. I was really mad that I couldn't get Treylon Burks. So
yeah.
I mean, I look at him. I think I believe everything you say. I think they just, hey, AJ Green or AJ Brown, you want this money? Go to Philadelphia. You could be their headache.
Yeah.
Treylon Burks, hey, rookie, what's up?
We're gonna draft less injury-prone AJ Brown 2.0 there in Tennessee.
AJ Brown 2.0. Give me a stat line. Give me like 1,000 yards.
Finish. 9. Yeah. Okay. I won't go too crazy. I'll say he's gonna continue the rookie line of 1,000 yards over the past 2 seasons. I'm not sure past 2 seasons. We've had a rookie wide receiver hit 1,000 yards with Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. Treylon Burks is going to continue that streak. Give me 1,000 yards, 9.5 TDs, and take him to the bank. Take him to the bank. Take him to the bank.
Cash that for what it is.
Cash Treylon Burks outside. How about that?
I'm sorry, but it's gonna be Drake London. I'm sorry.
Not with Marcus Mariota throwing him the ball, man.
Mariota's sustained a top 10 receiver before.
Yeah, the only good thing I like about the landing spot for Mariota in Atlanta is that his old offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith, is now the head coach for the Atlanta Falcons. So kind of put those two together. I could definitely see Mariota doing pretty good there in Atlanta. He's got Pitts. He's got Drake London. I mean, I think that's it there in Atlanta, right? Cordero, they got Cordero, your boy.
I was going to say, really? That's it? That's all.
They drafted Al Geyer, even though they've said they might move Cordero a bit more out of the running back duties there for Atlanta. But I got one more question for you. We've seen all these rookie quarterbacks absolutely free fall in the draft, other than Kenny Pickett. So with that, besides Kenny Pickett, between Corral, Howell in Washington, Corral in Carolina, Willis in Tennessee, and Ritter in Atlanta, which one of the 4 do you think starts? If you had to make a take right now, if we're making live takes on uSTADIUM Fantasy Live right now, because that's what we do, live takes, which one of these quarterbacks starts week 1?
Oh, I've actually had this in my head the second he got drafted. Coming from Carolina.
There you
He
go.
will beat out Sam Darnold. He will beat out PJ. He'll beat out whoever's there. I think Matt Corral, right? I'm not wrong, right? Matt
Yeah,
Corral.
Matt Corral, yeah.
Okay, is gonna win because I'm looking at him like who is Carolina picking? All these guys that Todd and Mel are like, this is the guy. He's gonna come in. He will sustain McCaffrey. He will bring to life DJ Moore, and he will help Robbie Anderson find some hands. Ian Thomas, he's got, I don't know what's going on with him. He'd rather do some other stuff. I don't know. I think he can sustain that offense, and I think Matt Corral is a sleeper pick at a quarterback. I think this is one of my steals outside of Tyler Lindenbaum to the Ravens was Matt Corral to the Panthers. And I think everyone was overthinking it. Like, oh, they had to get a quarterback. It's 8th. What are they going to do? Oh, it's this back. What are they going to do? They're like, relax. We know we're an NFL team. We know what we're doing. Matt Corral's sitting right there. Mm-hmm. He's like this is the piece they need to complete the offense. And Sam Darnold, I don't know how you get rid of him, trade him, just do something with him, but just get him off that team.
Yeah.
PJ Walker, I like the guy. I watched the XFL. He was great. Him and Parham were a great duo in the XFL. But when the NFL came, he's just a backup that's not like consistent. So let Matt Corral stay behind. I would start him week 1. I mean, if you're going to start Sam Darnold, you might as well just start Sam Corral week 1. The guy sees ghosts at the end of the day. So like, God help what he sees like nowadays. So Matt Corral, to me, if I had a hot take, is starting week 1 and will lead the Panthers to a decent season. Ooh. They have a good defense and they have a good offense. Mm-hmm. They need a quarterback to at least not suck. That's it, and they'll be good. Like, in the South is outside of Tampa, you can win a few games in the South.
Yep.
So that's my boy. I like Matt Corral. I like where he went. I think it was such a steal for them to get him. And then eventually Malik will make his way to start in Tennessee, but that's a different discussion.
The salt of Ryan Tannehill. Not I don't want to mentor the guy. Geez, man, just do your job, dude.
Yeah.
He's just a guy that he never had a mentor. I guess so.
I was always this in Miami, and I beat the Patriots twice a year, and I still wasn't happy enough.
Yeah, you can taste the salt.
I don't know. I didn't like that take. I think as a leader, it's like you just gotta like be like, you know what? Okay, cool. Like, you're getting old. You're not really like, you're good, but you're
not Aaron Rodgers now.
Yeah, you're a bridge quarterback. You're like you're
all the flavors in the world, and you chose to be salty. For me, my week 1 take of the quarterbacks that are gonna out of besides Kenny Pickett, the rookie quarterbacks that could possibly start week 1 for me is Desmond Ridder of the Atlanta Falcons. Ooh. A lot of people were saying he was the most pro-ready quarterback of the group. I think he can beat out Marcus Mariota just based on what he can do with his arm. He can run as well. The only issue is the allegiance from Arthur Smith to Marcus Mariota. He did sign a 2-year, $18 million contract, so that might kind of put Mariota there in the starting position. But it's the NFL, man. As a coach, as a general manager, or a team for that fact, your window only stays open for so long, especially when you're a head coach in the NFL. So if you want to win, if you want job security, you got to make the hard decisions like starting Russell Wilson over Matt Flynn, like they did over in Seattle, as you mentioned previously. But that's our top 15 rookies each. We gave them to you guys. Let Stefan know why he has Jameson Williams too low, and let me know why
I have trust issues. Come on.
Let me know why I should have John Mechie in the top 15.
You're gonna regret that.
I'm going to adjust them right now, just based on the information.
Just watch. Like, what's today? In 6 months, 7 months. Give me 7 months from now. What we're talking about them.
I like it.
That's all I'm gonna say.
That's it for us. Just remember that we're brought to you by today, the people over at Underdog Fantasy. Head over to the app, deposit up to $100, and Underdog will match it if you use promo code uSTADIUM. That's promo code uSTADIUM over at Underdog Fantasy. That's it for us. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next Tuesday.